All right. Wow. Lots to talk about today. The Canelo Alvarez $365 million 11 fight contract, which is the largest guaranteed sports contract for an athlete. Floyd Mayweather, his deal was 6 fights for 200 million, but everyone knows he made a lot of money off of pay-per-view revenue, and probably Canelo Alvarez won't make as much money as Floyd Mayweather, but in terms of guaranteed money, it comes out to about 33 million a fight for 11 fights. And the first fight that he has against Rocky Fielding is not doesn't seem like it's one of his toughest fights to date, to be perfectly honest with you, with all due respect to Rocky Fielding. So to be able to get 33 million to be fighting a Rocky Fielding on the DAZN, that's a lot of money. Now, people are going to question this deal, and they're going to ask themselves, is he leaving money on the table because of not being on pay-per-view anymore? But again, pay-per-view is not guaranteed money, and it is dependent upon a lot of different factors. And once Gennady Golovkin is gone, where else can Canelo Alvarez really generate the amount of pay-per-view buys with anyone else that he would require to make that 40 million or 50 million, whatever it was, to fight Gennady Golovkin the second time around? I'm hearing anywhere from 40 to 50 million he made for that fight. But what happens after Gennady Golovkin is my question. So this deal guarantees him, regardless of who he fights, his next 11 fights, he's going to be getting $33 million. And then I believe, based off of, he's going to get a percentage based off of subscriptions too, if the DAZN is able. I don't know the logistics about it, but I heard that they have some type of a subscription deal in the contract as well. I don't know the whole thing, but he may or may not get a percentage based off of a certain amount of subscriptions. I'm not sure about that. But as a fight fan, you have to be kind of happy about this, because you're not going to have to be shelling out $80 anymore to see Canelo Alvarez fight. And you could very well get, I'm not saying every fight that he fights is going to be of pay-per-view status, but we are going to get some pay-per-view status fights, and we're only going to have to pay $9.99 a month for it. Not even $9.99, because if you think about it, you have all the other stuff that's on there. Eddie Hearn's fights, you have the Bellator on there, and you have the Super Series boxing tournaments on there as well. So it's not even, you're not even paying the full $9.99 to watch Canelo Alvarez. So this seems to be a win-win for boxing fans. It's definitely a win for Canelo Alvarez, because again, it's guaranteed money up front regardless of who he fights. He doesn't have to depend on pay-per-view. And so that's a great deal. So it's a win-win for us. Whether or not this is a win for the DAZN, because again, they're shelling out a lot of money as of late to Eddie Hearn, Canelo Alvarez, Bellator, and whether or not they're going to get the subscriptions required to sustain shelling out all that money, that's another question. So whether or not this is a home run for them, that remains to be seen. But they are in 7 countries, so 7 countries are going to be able to watch Canelo Alvarez fights, whereas before they probably weren't able to watch Canelo Alvarez fights. And another argument too is, I know D-Style made this argument about how bars usually buy the pay-per-views, and a lot of people go down to the bars and they watch the fight at a local bar or a club or whatever. But the bars can download the app, and they can Chromecast Canelo Alvarez fights to their television set. So it's not really that big of a deal. But let's do some research on DAZN, because a lot of people are questioning whether or not or D-Style, I'm not trying to name drop, but D-Style and I were talking about this, and he did make some good points. And it still does remain to be seen whether or not they are going to be able to sustain paying all these athletes their top dollars. But let's look at the history of DAZN and where they're getting their money from. They're part of a group called Perform, which is a digital sports media group, and the revenue for Perform, I'm looking at it going back, and it only has 2013 numbers here. So in 2013, their revenue was 208 million. Their operating income was 11.6 million, but their net income was 4.6 million. So that's a lot of money, but is that enough money to sustain what DAZN is doing? But Perform is owned. Their parent company is Access Industries, and they're a privately held multinational industrial group, and they are gigantic. This group has investments in the United States, Europe, Israel, South America. It has headquarters in New York, London, and Moscow. And what these guys do, they're involved in natural resources, chemicals, media, telecommunications, venture capital, and real estate. And these guys are a when I say multi, they are a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. So there is a substantial capital behind DAZN and Perform, those two entities. So there is money there. Now the big question is, if DAZN doesn't get a return on shelling out all this money through subscribers, how deep into the pockets in the piggy bank will a company like, or an industrial group like Access go? So the money is definitely there, but if this does not work out over time, will Access Industries and the Perform Group continue to back DAZN? That's a huge question. Oh, I got D-Style here, wants me to call him on speaker, and I think I do want to call him on speaker because he has some great kind of arguments here, and maybe we can have a little debate here. I'm gonna call you right now, and I'll put you on speaker, D-Style. So he's gonna chime in. I would send him a link, but this computer that I'm using right now is kind of old. I don't have my laptop open, but
what's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on? So tell me the counter arguments to some of the points I made here about this DAZN, because as a fan, I think this is great for fans. I think this is great for Canelo Alvarez. So who's losing out here?
So, well, one, I mean, obviously, I would be a fool to say, "Oh, this is terrible for Alvarez," right?
Yeah.
Canelo's winning in this, so I think that goes without saying. Do fans in the short term benefit from this? Yes, right? But we have to be realistic, right? That this is not sustainable. When you look at the numbers, there's nothing sustainable about this. Like, I don't know if it's going to last as long as you think it's going to last. This is not the model moving forward. I think DAZN is going to lose a lot of money in this, and this is just Canelo alone, right?
Yeah.
You would need 30 million subscriptions, not free trials, not anything like that, right? 30 million subscriptions just to break even on a Canelo payday. It's not including his opponent. It's not including the undercard. It's not even including everything else they have on DAZN, right? So if you're honest, right, taking aside the fact that, hey, I could watch this fight on the app and it's good for me, do you not see what I'm saying when I say it's not sustainable? Like, it's not something that's going to really last forever?
Well, that's a great point, but the question is, honestly, do we really know how many total subscribers they have? I'm talking about not just United States, but what about the other 6 countries that are part of the subscription base here?
Well,
that's 7 countries.
How many people have downloaded the app?
You could go on.
And when you look at the download, that's not even counting people that have already, like me, for example, that already unsubscribed to it. because they wanted the free trial to watch Joshua Povetkin, right? So it doesn't count people that have already undownloaded it or however you call it, canceled the download.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can look at that with this Android. You can look at the Apple, which is a bulk of worldwide people that actually downloaded the app. That's not counting people that are subscribed to it and committed to paying the $9.99 per month.
Yeah.
To kind of give you an idea, the best example I could come up with, there's two of them. Okay, UFC has a monthly subscription too.
Yeah.
Right, and they charge almost the same, I believe, and the DAZN. Now they have it for like undercard fights, stuff like that. They have like a fight pass and certain cards that are out of the country. They'll show it there, but they don't put their main guys on that application. You know, they have pay-per-views for the. They're not going to put McGregor fight in the UFC fight pass. You know, it just isn't going to happen. Or even a John Jones or whoever, Cormier, you name it. So that's number one. Another model I could think of that is even more similar to this, believe it or not, it's the WWE Network, right?
Yeah.
It took the WWE Network like 4 or 5 years to break even.
Yeah.
Like when they left the pay-per-view model, and they're not paying anyone that type of money. Like the most they were paying somebody was John Cena, $10 million a year. Yeah. But John Cena still does house shows.
Yeah.
Generates money that way for them. He still does their Raw, SmackDown for the television. And the only guy that I can think of that just made appearances on TV, but he only performs on the actual network, is Brock Lesnar, and they paid him $6 million a year. Yeah. And even that is a stretch for them. And they have like, I forget how many it is. I think they have like 5 million subscribers or something like that.
Well,
I just have a hard time picturing the DAZN getting anywhere near 30 million subscribers for Canelo. And let's say you do a Charlo fight. How much do you think Charlo can make for that fight?
To fight Canelo, probably $3 million.
All right, so they still got to get $3 million to pay him. So that's like another 3 million subscriptions. Okay, so I just don't know if I'm not to $1 million, a little less than that. But anyway, we're still talking more subscriptions there. And I just don't know if it's sustainable. I'm not trying to be like the negative guy, or I think we should enjoy it while it lasts, but it's not going to last forever. I hope people understand that.
Well,
it's just not sustainable. And the other negative aspect of it is, sure, well, I have the ability, like me, myself, and yourself, and anyone listening to your podcast right now, sure, none of us are going to be impacted by it because we're all boxing fans.
Yeah.
Like, we know about the DAZN. We could just watch it there and we're good. The problem is, just like we saw in the Joshua Povetkin fight, there's no coverage of it because it's in an app, right? So that it's kind of like one of those things that's kind of like a bunch of people just go to one app to watch it and they leave. But it's not part of the media sphere that is social media. It's not involved in that whatsoever. It could be different with a Canelo fight, but my main thing is bars can't put on the DAZN unless the DAZN gets smart. The DAZN needs to work out a deal with like the bar thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, you don't think they could use a streaming device and just have it used? They can't do that.
They can't do that legally because it's supposed to be private use.
But if they buy the app, if they buy the app like everyone else, they're not able. Oh, so maybe they. So you're saying they may not be able to show it.
Everything depends.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think Golden Boy will be foolish to sell the fight to somebody for $9.99. You know what I mean? When they're making.
But here's a. Let me just jump in real quick. I hate to interrupt you. So I'm looking here on the Play Store, and it says they have the 1 million+ downloads. But no, but listen, here's the kicker here. This is what I did not know. It says in-app purchases. It says $9.99 to $64.99 per item. So are we just paying $9.99 for it in other countries where there's like, because in other countries like Canada where they're showing NFL and stuff like that, are they paying more than $9.99? Because some people, it says here, 64.
They show in other countries, but let's say they show the NFL in other countries.
Yeah.
I doubt that because the NFL has their own stream. You know what I mean? But let's say they do. Like, I don't know what the case is, but whatever they're like, those subscribers are subscribing to it for that, so they're already trying to make money off of that.
Yeah.
Right? When you bring in Canelo, it's you cannot subsidize the Canelo payday with everything else, because then how are you going to make money?
Yeah.
You know, there has like. I think in their mind, this is a long-term investment. They probably know they're going to take a loss, but they just want to make sure that it makes the app more lucrative to have. That's my best guess, right? Because there's no way they're going to make money off of this. Like, I'm not trying to be negative or anything. I'm just being very realistic, right? The HBO that costs $15 a month, okay, when they did have boxing, whenever there was a big fight, they put it on pay-per-view. It's for a reason. You know, it's because it wasn't going to make money for them just off of, you know, put it on HBO. You didn't see them say, okay, let's take Mayweather $40 million, but, you know, for the Cotto fight or whatever he made, but let's put it on HBO so see if we can get more subscribers. That's not what they did. They put it on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I think there's a little bit of an issue here. I wouldn't even be surprised if the zone charges a little more for you to have access to this fight. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, some people are paying $65 a month for the app in other countries. So, you know, I don't know how many people. I don't know which countries are doing that. I'd like to find out. But this is 1 million downloads just with the place.
Are you sure they're paying $65 a month, or is it like a deal they have, like for 6 months you pay $65 or something?
It says it's in-app purchases, and it says $9.99, and then it has a dash, and it says $64.99 per item. So I'm gonna do some research on that, because you know, that seems kind of bizarre to me. But like I said, if you know, I'm sure, you know, in Canada where they're watching NFL. So each country, I think, in each country, there's different things that are available. Now, obviously, what's available to us is only certain sports, like cricket, I guess, boxing, MMA, and cricket and snooker and stuff like that. And obviously, we already watch NFL, so that's not going to be on the.
They have Bellator as well.
Yeah, I have Bellator too. Yeah, MMA, Bellator. So.
This doesn't even pay itself. Like I understand that the people behind this have money, right?
Yeah.
But they're looking for a return on their investment. Okay, just because they have money doesn't mean that they want to throw money away.
That's what I'm saying.
They want to
Yeah.
make money. So I don't know, this Canelo thing is okay, we know we're going to take a loss in this, but it's going to make our app more lucrative.
Yeah.
Moving forward. But it just seems like a lot of money to me.
And then
when you do the math, I mean, this is just Canelo. It's not his opponent, not the undercard. I guess we got to know more about the deal. Did they get a cut out of the gates? Did they get any money out of that?
I'm not sure, but you know, it's not. It's so they only have to pay it out $33 million twice a year. So it's
a lot of money, bro.
$66 million. So you know, one fighter, yeah.
And not to mention, you know, there's going to be people that are going to pay for it that month and then cancel it.
Yeah.
Try to fight again and then get it again.
Everyone's
going to keep the app.
What I'm curious to see is if they keep expanding, you know, the countries that they're available in. That's what I'm curious to see. Because if that's the case, if that's the case, that could help them too. Think about it. How many people in Japan actually watch Canelo fights? Now they're going to be able to do it. I have a guy on Facebook. He's always asking me for streams on Canelo fights. I have a guy on Facebook. He messages me. You know, he lives in Japan. He always says, hey, do you have a stream for the Canelo fight tonight? Now he doesn't have to worry about that. So
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If, let's say, if this was sustainable,
yeah,
you don't think by now Netflix would have thought about this and said, you know what, it's works.
Well,
right. Netflix has over 100 million subscribers worldwide. You don't think they would have jumped on this? You don't think they would have been like, hey, let's sign Canelo and start a sports stream. But there's a reason that companies like HBO is letting go of boxing. There's a reason that Netflix didn't jump on it. There's a reason Showtime isn't throwing money like that around. And of course, look, who am I to say, right? The people making, it's their money, they're making their investment. If they lose it, it's on them. Right, I get it. But I just think it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And we'll be seeing Canelo very soon, after maybe 2-3 fights, back on, Showtime or something like that. I honestly believe that.
Well, I don't know if they'll be able to do that without having to buy him out of his contract. I don't know the logistics behind the deal, but that'll be interesting. But this is a win for us, I think. It's a win for Canelo. And even if it doesn't work out, boxing still finds a way to keep moving forward, because Canelo can always, it's not like Canelo's going to have a hard time finding a home. You know what I mean? He can go to ESPN, he can go to Showtime, so.
If the zone can do the following, right?
Yeah.
The zone has to find a way to allow the bar scene to show their fights, right?
Yeah.
Number one. So they could still sell pay-per-view to the bars, then they're good.
Or they can work out a deal. They can work out a deal where the bars buy the app and just stream it to the television.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to charge them more than $9.99. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably will. Yeah, they probably will.
But there's that, and then of course there's also, even if they do that though, I just don't see many bars picking it up. But even then, well, somebody told me, right, and it's true, there is more homes with internet than television nowadays.
Yeah.
But there's a big but. There's a but.
Yeah.
Let's not assume that all those homes have the speeds, okay, to be able to watch this event live comfortably.
I know.
Okay, so
I know.
There's a small. It's about half of those internet homes have the speeds.
You're right.
Good enough. Okay, for them to watch that. So that's what people are a little mistaken.
The equipment means a lot, because, like I said, I had a router that I purchased 6 years ago, and I didn't realize that it wasn't working properly. And then I had to get a new router, and I used my updated Chromecast, and it made all the difference in the world. It made all the difference in the world,
Let me tell you something. I've been working, as you know, in the television industry for a long time. Pay-per-view fights, like Canelo and Golovkin and McGregor Khabib.
Yeah.
All these companies, Comcast, Dish, DirecTV, they love it. That means a lot of they get half of that pay-per-view.
Right? Correct. Yeah.
So they make a lot of money out of that. And what people need to understand is, I don't know how good the zone is going to work. And I'm far from a conspiracy theorist. Okay. But I know that net neutrality is no longer a thing, all right? So these internet companies or whatnot, many of them are owned by cable companies, right? And they're losing money out of this, right? So don't be surprised if the zone starts working a little too slow when these fights come up, right? So because they could easily throttle it, and then now they could do it legally. There's nothing to stop them from doing it. I hope I'm wrong, because that's kind of messed up if they do that. But don't be surprised if they do. That's all I'll tell people. So just keep that in mind. But hopefully they don't. But that's something to keep in mind, man. Because it's, especially if UFC starts selling more off of their app and the zone, and there could be a lot of throttling going on, so that's just something to keep in mind, Yeah. But the last thing I wanted to mention is boxing, at least for me growing up, it has been a very social sport, and Canelo fights bring out a lot of people together to watch it, right? And believe it or not, there is something lucrative, just feel lucrative, I guess. It really isn't, but it's how people have been feeling for a while. It's when everybody pitches in to get a pay-per-view and all watch it together at home. That type of culture is going to be gone now with this app.
But they still can't use the app and stream it to the television and just invite everyone over to watch the event. That's still.
We're assuming that everybody has like a smart TV
or
wants to buy it's a $60 freaking Fire Stick or.
Well, the Chromecast is $35.
Have adequate internet.
Yeah, the Chromecast is $35. But if you don't have internet speeds of 100 or more, see, I have the.
I mean, let's say you live in a neighborhood that there's a lot of fight fans in.
Yeah.
Especially with cable.
Yeah.
Cable shares their internet.
Yeah.
In areas.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people are streaming on the zone, right?
Yeah.
They're not following it. That's going to slow down that internet.
Yeah, that's correct.
That doesn't happen with TV.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just things to keep in mind.
Yeah. I have exceptionally fast internet. Yeah, I have exceptionally fast internet. I get like, no lie, I get like 250 downloads, 250 megabytes download on my internet. I have like the blast.
But you're in a blue state. Yeah, people in red states still don't get fast internet.
No, you're right. I'm selfish. Because I watch the fights by myself.
100 is like the best. Like you're a top dog and you get 100. Right?
Yeah, I get more than that.
Yeah.
I get more than that. So I'm selfish. I'm selfish because all the stars align right for me. I don't go to bars to watch fights. I like watching fights by myself because I like to score them. I don't like people bothering me. So I'm selfish. This is beautiful for me because I'm paying $9.99 or less for a pay-per-view that usually costs me $80. But I totally can see your argument because you have different internet speeds where you live at. You have a different culture. Basically, you like it's like an event. It's a party for you. It's almost like a holiday for people that in your area, or particularly in your family, when there's a big fight like that. And obviously, you're going to want to maximize the viewing experience. And with this app, you may not be able to. So that's a good point. And these are things that I didn't think about. But I'm happy. I'm for my own selfish reasons, but I got to think of everyone else too. And will this work for everybody? The question is, maybe not. Maybe not.
It's possible for the zone to do the following. I just don't think that if you see this is why they need style in a round table whenever they come up with this shit, right? But there is a way for them to legally bid the fight. Let's say Canelo's gonna fight, right?
Yeah.
And they have it on the app. So for residential areas, they have a rights to that. So that way, guys like you and me can watch it on the app.
Yeah.
But let's say for the bar scene, they can actually bid for business accounts to pay for pay-per-view. Kind of the way back in the day, Donkey would sell at KO TV and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a way for them to do that, and they can make revenue off of that, and allow, of course, the bars to buy it from whatever provider they have. So it's still possible for them to do that, which would kind of help with that. But I don't know if they have any plans for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So basically, this is the funny scenario that could happen. But in America, this kind of opens the door for Deontay Wilder to be that pay-per-view guy, possibly, because Canelo Alvarez isn't going to be on pay-per-view, I don't think, for about 5 years. We already know Anthony Joshua is a pay-per-view star in the UK. That's not going to go away. But now it seems like the only person that could even, I'm not saying he's going to fill that void, but the only person that we can even try to fill that void is probably right now is Deontay Wilder, right? He's the next guy that could be that pay-per-view guy. So this could be beneficial to him, possibly. I don't know, because now people will say, I'll buy the Wilder fight because I don't have to buy the Canelo fight this year. They can use that money and spend it on Wilder, possibly, if he can continue to keep getting popular like he has been. So it's interesting.
I definitely agree, man. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And don't get me wrong. Do I blame Canelo for taking this deal? No. Okay. I'd take that deal too. So, but I just don't think it's going to be sustainable for the zone. That's just my only argument. Okay.
That's a good argument. Could we do you think we'll at least get 5 years out of it? Or do you think that
no?
You think it'll be 2 years and then they'll try to look for the back door out of this deal with Canelo?
Well, because I mean, first of all, if Golden Boy had like a bigger, like if they had like Al Heyman fighters, then maybe. But they just don't have the stable of fighters to kind of give back to the zone.
Correct.
What they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just don't. Now, of course, it's not just Golden Boy. There's also Eddie Hearn on there as well, and hopefully they can work together. But like I said, short term, like a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, it's going to be great. After that, I think it's going to fall apart, to be honest with you.
And the problem is going to be, like, Jacobs will probably fight on there. Golovkin could possibly fight on there. Who else do they got? They got. Well,
if they want to sign Golovkin, though, Golovkin, now this is public. Do you think Golovkin's going to take a little small deal?
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, they're going to have to pay up. But it might not be. He's older, so it might be like a shorter deal, like 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might sit him down and then when we get it, but Canelo's young, a little older. But it's still going to be a lot of money, though.
They got David Lemieux. He could fight. And then if he moves up to super middleweight, he could fight some of those guys like George Groves, Callum Smith.
I will admit, though, in a way, it doesn't mean that boxing doesn't have any problems and its problems gone away. I'm not saying that at all, but it did put boxing on the headlines, because Canelo technically has like the biggest deal ever.
Yeah. Guaranteed money, biggest deal. Yeah, guaranteed money, the biggest deal. And then they got Demetrius Andrade. If he wins a WBO title, I think it's next week. They could put Canelo Alvarez versus Demetrius Andrade in a unification bout. That's a fight that would normally be pay-per-view. That we you know what I'm saying? So short term, this thing looks good because if you think about it, there's no other guy that Canelo could really generate a good pay-per-view with other than Golovkin, who also is out there right now in the near future that would really warrant a good pay-per-view fight for Canelo. So short term, this is great. You never know who's going to pop up out of the woodwork in say 2 or 3 years, but it's it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out. You made some great points, and only time will tell. Time will tell because like I said, they did kind of dig themselves a little bit of a hole with all this money they seem to be putting out in such a short period of time. Will they be able to get the subscriber base that's going to enable them to make some return on their investment?
And by the way, the DAZN actually outbid HBO was actually bidding for that fight for next year. Yeah. So much for being done with boxing. I mean, they were still trying to get a Canelo fight, So I don't know if they're done with boxing. I think HBO will still take the pay-per-view fight.
That's what Yeah, they probably won't have HBO boxing on their regular HBO, but they'll. Right. I'm sure they're going to still have their pay-per-views.
But I could definitely see why HBO's like, nah, we're not going to offer you that.
No, not for Rocky. Not who's going to give him $33 million to fight Rocky? With all due respect to Rocky Fielding, I mean he's a decent fighter, and he's probably a great,
President of HBO have to go to the head of HBO and be like, so can we beat this deal? They probably laughed.
Yeah, Showtime wasn't going to do it either. Showtime gave Floyd Mayweather the $200 million for 6 fights because they knew that he could fight Canelo. They knew he could fight Pacquiao. They knew there was a chance that they could really capitalize off of those 2 fights. And then the icing on the cake, cherry on top, was having the McGregor fight. So, but Canelo Alvarez doesn't have any opponents down the road where he could do what Floyd Mayweather did.
Through the grapevine in the industry, there's although HBO is just seeing it like they're just moving on or whatever, but there's a little bit of a Showtime. They see it like as a victory that HBO gave up on boxing. They see like they won, like they won the war or whatever you want. Kind of like WWE after they beat WCW.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they see it. They see it as a victory. That they're actually going to increase their boxing budget. They know now that they're no longer going to be, they're not going to be competing with another network showing boxing at the same time. So they're seeing it as a positive. So there is some positive stuff coming out of this HBO giving up on boxing. Lately, and one of them is Showtime, increasing their budget, really getting pumped up. I don't blame them, I guess, but they're seeing it as a victory, like HBO threw the white flag on boxing, but they might see it differently on each side, but in Showtime side, they're seeing it as a big victory.
Well, the DAZN can have a minor victory right now too because they have the 2 biggest stars in the sport showcased on their app.
Is that the biggest star of the star over here. Yeah.
That's who can beat that. But again, they're paying a substantial amount of money to have those guys.
Like, how much are they paying Joshua? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's still a lot of money these guys are spending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it has to be. I mean, no, they make anything. You have to invest in stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. I just think the zone might be better off. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what. Like, I'll hold that thought.
Yeah.
But,
I'm happy though. As a consumer, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I watched last weekend. I watched about 6 events, and if I didn't have the zone, I wouldn't have been able to watch them. And again, if you don't like Eddie Hearn, and a lot of I have my beef with Eddie Hearn, not just you in particular, but anyone that doesn't like Eddie Hearn. There's people out there that are hating this app just because Eddie Hearn's affiliated with it, which I think is. I don't think that makes sense.
Well, there's an assumption that he owns
the app. Yeah, and I watched 6 events last week, and he was only a part of one of them. So it's like, it's not like he's running the show over there, you know. Like the Super Series tournaments, he has nothing to do with. He has nothing to do with Bellator. He has nothing to do with this Canelo deal. So it's not like he's this app. He's not a representative of this app. So
if there's one positive thing that come out of this is if it just depends how much control they have, right? I hope that they didn't give H. Golden Boy 100% authority on what's on the undercards of those fights.
Yeah.
So if the zone could get other fighters that they have on the zone on the undercard of Canelo fights, we might get a better card overall. I really hope it's not a Golden Boy 100% run card. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. You know, I think it's just a matter of time for us to kind of see here. Only time will tell. We'll hope for the best. I still remain that it's not sustainable. I don't think it's going to last more than 2 years.
Okay. So, will it be a good 2 years though, or a bad 2 years in your opinion?
Well, like I said, short term it's going to be great. It's kind of like when you first get a credit card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's great at first. Like, dang, I got $5,000 to spend.
Or
Start spending like crazy, but then, you know, here at D-Style, when I was 21 years old, and you maxed out a $6,000, credit card, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I don't got any more money to spend on this, but I gotta pay it all back. You know? So yeah, sure. At first, it's gonna be great at first, but I can see like they're gonna max out that credit card.
Yeah.
A $3 million credit card. And we'll see if they get a return on their investment. I don't think they will, you know. But yeah, short term it's going to be great for us because we're not the ones paying back the credit card, so we're good.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. If it only lasts 2 years, let's enjoy those 2 years and look forward to some good fights.
2 years, I mean, boxing will be okay. It's only not the boxing.
Yeah,
yeah. Still have to go back to the networks, you know. But
yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. I mean, I see 2 years.
Okay. All right. All right, brother.
All right, man. You have a good day, man.
All right, I'll talk to you. Thanks for calling, man. Appreciate it. It's good input. All right, so D-Style made some good points. But at the end of the day, as a fan, it seems at least we're gonna get some good fights for some cheap money, and Canelo Alvarez is definitely getting paid. So if we win and Canelo Alvarez wins financially, then I guess that's the most important thing. If the DAZN, obviously we want the DAZN to do well too. So because we want to keep it going, we want to be able to have these fights year in and year out, and we don't want to have just a good 2 years. We've got to have a good 5 years, a good 10 years. But we'll see how it goes until, for now we don't know, but only time will tell. And we'll see if they expand the subscription base to other countries, more countries. And we'll see if more people purchase this app. It's at 1 million plus right now. So after a couple Canelo fights, I'll go back on the Play Store. And I don't know how many downloads are on the Apple Store. I'll check my iPad. I haven't checked it on the iPad to see how many people downloaded it on Apple. I'm sure there's substantially more on Apple, so I'll double check that. on my iPad because I don't use my iPad that much, but I'll double check it. And we'll check back in after a couple of Canelo fights or after the first Canelo fight, and we'll see how many more people have downloaded the app. All right, guys, let me know what you think. If you agree with D-Style, if you think this is sustainable, and even if you don't think it's sustainable, are you excited for watching Canelo on DAZN in the short term, having to save some money here? If you have the proper equipment to catch it to your television set and all that stuff, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have the app, if you're considering